Barbershop conversations, man. I just saw Timothy Bradley's interview on Fight Hype, and it just reminded me to do this video. Andre Ward was fired. Max Kellerman was fired as it pertains to boxing. Jalen Rose, David Pollock, who I watch on Saturday mornings, they were all fired, and the budget cuts are real. You know what I mean? It's not just Showtime and Paramount Global. It's Disney and ESPN and the long-term future of boxing. I mean, it's always going to be somewhere because it's cheap labor involved, and the fans pays for the pay-per-views. So it's always going to be a space for it, but it genuinely seems like the marketplace is shrinking for fighters, and that's why these networks are applying a lot of pressure to make these big fights. You know what I mean? And that's why, thank God for the fans and for me and you, 2023 has been a great year. Like even this weekend, it's an off weekend, but you got Jerron Ennis fighting somebody, and Stangonia is fighting Berger Ortiz. So, and that's not going to get much press because of the Spence Crawford deal. But Andre Ward was fired. And like I said before, Tim Bradley and Andre Ward were the two best commentators. I think Showtime is in last place. I think DAZN is next. And then I think, but Showtime is like well below DAZN. You know what I mean? Like well below. Like they have no personality. It's boring. It's flat. They need a shakeup. They really have nobody on a staff that calls the fights that are like relatable to the fighters. They don't even talk to the fighters. It seems like outside of the fighter meetings, it don't even seem like there's like a relationship between fighter and media as it pertains to that. I think Showtime needs to look inside the vlogger sphere, whether it's podcasting, but they need a polarizing figure because they're flat. But, you know, it is what it is. But I'll digress. We'll converse on that at a later date. I said converse. Oh, did y'all understand what that word means? Anyways, man, Andre Ward is an articulate man, so we'll raise the bar from an intellectual perspective for this video. Anyways, Andre Ward is gone, and I thought Andre Ward was good for the sport, man. But I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. I'm probably one of the handful of people that was actually offered a job at ESPN years ago. I know y'all hate me and y'all mad, but I don't know where I would have ended up. But the fact that I was offered a job and I didn't take it, I thought building my brand was more important, and working as much as I could between 8 and 3 and coming home was more important than being on TV. And not many men would make them choices. And I'm not condemning men that make some choices because everyone starts somewhere. Like I was a school teacher, you may start on ESPN. But once you hit that benchmark, you gotta start working towards independence. You must start working towards it. And this goes for every person on earth. You must have some level of stable, independent income. If not, then you're going to be searching and chasing and worshiping, you know. And Andre Ward is a great example of that. Andre Ward sold his documentary to Showtime, and I know what the market is for documentaries, and I think Andre Ward would have made as much money, if not more, promoting it on ESPN for free during the fights, right? Going on a media blitz and selling it himself. But there is a production budget. Maybe he wouldn't invest the production budget. Maybe Paramount Global picked up the production budget and gave him whatever they negotiated. So I understand that. But when you have a platform as big as that, like I told you, I have 70,000 subscribers. I've sold over 20,000 units. Put that in me, by myself. between $5 and $15. I've sold 20,000 units. So that's why I don't discourage people to not talk about me, because I ain't gonna lie. I know when someone makes a video about me, because it spikes my sales. I don't know who's talking about me. I'll be honest. I don't know who's talking about me, but the Nation of Islam has done a great job supporting me. I think they have done an amazing job. You know what I mean? All the members, they buy my stuff because I can see the names and their email addresses when they purchase it. You know what I mean? So when you say, Fred, why don't you get mad? Because it makes me money. Like, I literally can afford to put money in my next project now. You understand what I'm saying? So, I would suggest that Andre Ward go build his own. You know what I mean? If you haven't learned nothing at this point from getting fired, and I'm using Andre Ward, but I'm also talking about Max Kellerman, because there's a quality of life that you must live. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is, you know? From the Goosen family being out 2 years to getting laid off here and always having to prove yourself. And I think Andre Ward doesn't have to prove himself anymore. Andre Ward, in this era of boxing, is a man of valor, is a man that most people respect, is a man that comes off believable, is a man that is deemed trustworthy, is a man that, I'm not saying all this is true, but this is the projection, because some of you may disagree or agree. So I had some more adjectives, but the point I'm trying to make is Jalen Rose got fired. So you got to build your own. I'm not saying don't work for somebody else. I always tell you at least 30% of your income. Once you hit that benchmark, there's a benchmark every working employee gets. Amazon truck is here. And there's a benchmark, whatever benchmark that is, whether you save $50,000 or $100,000, but 30% of your income must be independent. I stand on that. I'm not anti-work. I was a school teacher for 7 years. I'm not anti this, but because I am independent and I choose to allocate my time where I want to give it. And right now it's basketball. I'm all in on basketball. I'm doing so many videos today because it's a holiday. Today and tomorrow is holiday, so I'm home with the kids. You just heard the ball bouncing. You know, I'm in my office now. We're about to head to dinner now. But it's so important that we find independence. And Andre Ward needs to be independent. Andre Ward needs to produce his own podcast. He already has the background. I saw it during COVID, you know, when Timothy Bradley was eating that sandwich, you know. But yeah, man, I thought Andre Ward and Timothy Bradley were really good for the sport, man. I've actually spoke to Bob Arum about it, man. I thought they were exceptional. I think it's time I just thought about it. I think it's time for another Bob Arum interview. You know, I'm home tomorrow, which will be the last day I'll be home probably for the next month and a half. I'm talking about during the day. So, because it's full-blown basketball, man. So maybe I'll call Bob tomorrow. Bob is an American, but, you know, I mean, Bob is one of them guys that's real orthodox. But maybe he'll take out some time of his day for me. So maybe I will. I don't know. No guarantees. But Andre Ward, build your own, dog. Build your own. Create your own independent platform so you can tell the whole truth. That documentary from I'm in Los Angeles. I was a media member in Los Angeles. So I know a little bit more than what Andre Ward gave in SOG, in his documentary. I know what the Goosens did to him. They screwed him. And I know what they think of him to this day. There's no respect there. Zero respect between the Goosens and the Wards. No matter what he says, there's zero respect. And Andre Ward, get your own platform. It will be bigger, stronger, and you can say what you want now, because now you're testing the waters. Like, hey, you know how you check the water with your toes to see if the the bathtub is ready for your child to get in before you put your. Remember when you had your newborn and you had to put them in a little bathtub and you had to check the water to see if it's warm enough for the kid or has chilled down a little bit before you put your baby down in the hot water. Andre Ward is testing. Andre Ward, tell the real, tell it all. You know what I mean? The ups and downs with you and Jay Prince, the downs. You know, I think it's important. I really, really think it's important. Or the financial, this is what I believe to be true. What I've been told, you know, the financial hardships you had in the 2 years and, you know what I mean, and how you kept your family together and how your faith in God was tested. And, you know, I just think it's important. Outside of what Andre Ward and I, the conversation we had out there in Fresno, I have no qualms with him, man. You know what I mean? I trust no man more than I trust myself, so I'm not an idol worshiper. As you guys have noticed, I've challenged the biggest and the baddest, from Bob Arum to Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, to Andre Ward. Nobody. I stand on what I believe in. And I didn't say I fight for what I believe. I said I stand on what I believe in. So even if I get beat up, shot, I'm not going back. I ain't going back. Shout out to Russ. So, Andre Ward, get your own platform, dog. Get your own podcast. Call it The Last Jab. And it's a play on words. And also, it's after the fight. You know, the final jab. You know what I mean? I think that'll be great. You know what I mean? And you have guests come on. You know what I mean? And you tell stories. Man, you got 20 years, close to 30 years of experience, man. You know what I mean? Like, talk about the negotiation. Man, come on, man. Anyways, man. Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. You ready? Yeah. All right, you got your shoes on? Yeah. All right. All right, we about to go to dinner. All right, Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'll holler at you guys. Peace.